Daredevil Born Again, Season 2, Episode 4. Alright. Okay. So, I just have to say, so far, with this show, not impressed. I'm not impressed at all. I'm really not. God, man, this is bored again, isn't it? This show is just fucking Daredevil bored again, huh? Like, that's really what it's been for these first 3 episodes. I have just been, like, who gives a fuck? Like, really, that's how I feel for most of this. I'm just like, who gives a fuck? But here we are, episode 4, gloves off. So we start off with Bullseye. Hey, remember Bullseye where we were kind of trying to do something with him and then we just kind of fucking forgot about it? Yeah, well, he's back now. We finally get to see what he's been up to. We take a break from all this stupid allegorical bullshit to actually try and tell you a story this time, and we see what Bullseye's doing. He's living under a new identity in some apartment. He goes to a diner and he asks them for a milkshake, and then while they're making the milkshake, he calls the task force. Now, I at first thought Bullseye was being a grade A prankster, and he was just gonna have everyone in this fucking place taken down. But no, he calls the task force and says, like, I just saw Frank Castle enter, this diner. Oh, he has a gun, and then he, turns it off. So he waits for the task force to arrive, and then he just kills them all. Right? He kills all the task force. We get to see him, using his bullseye-ness, his grade A marksmanship. And he orders him, was it a banana milkshake? That's pretty good. Banana milkshakes are pretty good. So, hey, based there. And then he, sprays his logo with ketchup on the door. So you know who it is. So he's clearly on a path of revenge against Kingpin. So we then go to where everyone that they have freed from the totally not ice facility is. They're in this fucking rinky-dink little place. And Karen needs to get this drive to BB. By the way, why the fuck is BB Urich even in here when Karen was a journalist? She was a reporter. So all the shit BB Urich is doing, Karen could do. Fucking shit. But so Karen needs to get this drive to BB. It's got all the info they need. And he's like, I gotta give it to her. But she's like, but I'm a wanted fugitive, so I can't really go out there and do that. And then fucking little white tiger goes like, oh, I can do it. And Karen goes, absolutely not. You're not doing shit. And her argument to let her do stuff is, they're already looking for me. That's more of a reason to not let you go. It'd be one thing if they weren't looking for you, then you could just be a civilian walking around, you have a better chance. If they're already looking for you, that's even more of a reason for you not to do this. But plot's got a plot, so Karen gives her the fucking chip. And then Daredevil, sees the white tiger necklace and he goes, you know what this means, right? And she's like, yes, I do. And I'm like, yeah, it means I'm gonna get a fucking girl boss. That's fucking awesome. So there's a fucking knock at the door, and the 3 people who go to defend everyone is Daredevil, Karen paid her the gun, and little 98-pound white tiger with a knife. And I'm like, oh, I feel so safe. None of the men who are right fucking there, who are bigger than her, right? She comes up to their fucking waist. None of them are gonna stand up and do anything. But the little fucking 98-pound soaking wet woman that I could fucking bench press with a knife she's gonna be the one to step forward. Oh yeah, fucking great job. So who it is it's the first mate from the Northern Star. He's there. He found them. Oh my god. And well, look at that. Finally, they found him. He ends up talking to them about, he's like, I see what's going on and I want to help you. And he looks like the woman who ran the Greek restaurant because she was getting people out of the city, which makes no fucking sense. Why are they acting like New York's on lockdown and no one can leave the city? This makes no fucking sense. So then, Fisk sends Vanessa away because he's going to have his boxing match and he doesn't want there. It's a public place. Bullseye's out there. He doesn't want her to be in danger. So Vanessa leaves and she goes and has a talk with the governor, and this shit was fucking absurd. So the governor says about how she doesn't like Fisk, right? And how he abuses his power, but she understands what he does, right? Vanessa's the wild card. She doesn't understand Vanessa, and she just fucking kisses Vanessa's ass. This whole fucking thing. This whole thing was making it seem like Vanessa's the dangerous one out of her and Fisk. That was what this whole thing was about. And the governor said, I can't get behind Mayor Fisk, but I can get behind Mayor and Mrs. Fisk. What the fuck? And there was nothing to cause it. The governor just says how much she hates Fisk, but because Vanessa's there, she's like, sure, I'll support you. There was no Vanessa, like, trying to, like, maybe warp her sense of views or anything like that, or Vanessa plays, like, a silver tongue. Nothing! It was just the governor saying, you're a woman, so I'll support you. The fuck am I watching? Nothing happened! I was like, what the fuck? So Matt Murdock decides, okay, I'm gonna go find Bullseye. So he goes to the scene of the crime where, Bullseye killed all the people in the diner. He wears a task force uniform that he stole. And he ends up finding, like, this coin that belongs to a nearby church. So he goes to a church. Oh my god, he finally, Matt Murdock, after 2 seasons, steps inside of a fucking church because they remembered he's Catholic. So he steps into the church and he actually says a prayer. And then, like, a priest comes by and he's, like, asking, Matt, because he thinks Matt's an officer, right? He's like, what troubles you, officer? And then Matt Murdock says, I knew a boy, he was blind, and this prayer got him through some tough times. And then he shows the priest, the coin he found, and the priest's like, well, that coin belongs to everyone. They're free to take it. I don't know who could do it. And Matt can hear his heartbeat going, and Matt's like, who do you think did it? So the priest spills his guts about, Bullseye and all that. And he's like, he tells me that he sees me open the door every day. And Matt's like, from where? From his window. And then Matt, like, uses his listening, his hearing. He listens in. He hears Bullseye across the road from a street. And he's like, I know where he is. This was, like, probably one of the better scenes of the episode. Who'd have thought you actually, care about Matt Murdock's faith. And, it's there. They also say that Wilson Fisk's boxing match is going to be at Fogwell's gym as a way to kind of, like, stick it to Matt and all that. And they show scenes throughout this episode of, like, the Daredevil Netflix show, and I'm like, I wish I was watching that show rather than this whatever the fuck I'm watching. So then Wilson Fisk goes to his his little the detention facility, and he's looking at it all, and he's fucking mad. And then Matthew Millard's character comes around, and he's like, why are all these guns still here? They're supposed to be gone. They're supposed to be on a ship and away. And Fisk has to tell him, because Daredevil knows, and if we just send it on another ship, we're gonna have the Northern Star incident again, and I don't want to have to deal with that. And they end up having a little bit of a showdown where some of Matthew Millard's guys come in to threaten them. Buck kills them both, and Wilson Fisk says, just so we understand each other, I'm not your employee. You should practice some patience. And he walks away, and Matthew Lillard is not happy. So then from there, Karen Page goes to Kirsten McDuffie, and she's like, I need your help. And what they do is they have the first mate, Christoph, I believe his name is, just film a video of him basically saying, everything, right? We were carrying illegal guns on the Northern Star. We were told to turn the ship over by the Kingpin, but we know it's the mayor, and all that stuff to try and incriminate Fisk, right? So then we have the boxing match itself. Oh, no, sorry. We have Daredevil going after Bullseye. They fight in Bullseye's apartment. I have been like, okay, the fight scenes have been pretty good, is what I've thought so far in the show. This was shit. This fight scene was fucking garbage. How is it you get a better fight scene with Bullseye killing all the task force guards in the diner, Daredevil fighting them in the detention center? That's better than Daredevil versus Bullseye. This fight sucked ass. The only cool thing was Bullseye first attacked Daredevil with a CD. That's the only good thing. And then Bullseye tells Daredevil, he's like, we're on the same side. I'm here to help you. I'm going to do what you don't do. And that is, I am going to, end Wilson Fisk. So, but Daredevil's like, I can't let you do that. You just make a martyr out of him. And that's the worst thing you could ever possibly fucking do. So, no, I can't let you do that. And then he and Bullseye, they end up fighting again. Bullseye escapes. So then we go to the boxing match. And it's, Wilson Fisk versus this boxer. Wilson Fisk is beating the fuck out of him. There's no other way to say it. He beats the fuck out of this boxer. Okay? Beats the fuck out of him. While this fight is happening, Buck intercepts Christoph, who was like being escorted by some U.S. Marshals to a safe place. And Buck kills them all. So ties up that loose end. I can't remember if Christoph himself had the the video or not. I don't really give a shit, but that loose end is tied up. So then the leader of the task force comes to Wilson Fisk, and he's like, sir, Kristoff has been taken care of. And then Fisk is like, all right, let's go. And he starts beating the fuck out of the guy more. Vanessa shows up, which is so fucking stupid. Why would you show up? Like, she plays this whole thing where she's like, I hate that you send me away. And he's like, well, I don't want to take the risk. And it's like, yeah, there's a fucking psychopathic killer on the loose who wants you dead. So he's right. Stay away. Stay in the building. Don't go to public spaces where Bullseye can very easily access and kill you. But she shows up anyway. Fisk wins by TKO. Vanessa enters the ring and Fisk is like, you need to get the fuck out of here. And what happens? Bullseye shows up and he starts killing a bunch of task force members. Vanessa pulls out a gun. She shoots him as he's throwing like a snow globe at her. Fisk blocks it with the belty one. And I will say, these slow-mo shots from like this part with like the boxing fight and all that, I do think they're cool. I do think they're very cool, very cinematic, and they're very comic book-like. Like, this would be a comic book panel type of shot. I do enjoy that. Daredevil shows up to stop Bullseye. He stops Fisk from killing Bullseye with a gun, and Daredevil sends himself and Bullseye flying out a window, and then they run off. And then you see, as the rest of the task force guys chase after them, you see Vanessa, and she's got a piece of glass from the snow globe in her head, and then she falls down and she starts bleeding out. Fisk is calling for help, and that's where the episode ends. So, okay, the first episode, I think I said a 6 out of 10. It's a 5 out of 10. Episode 2 and 3 are also, episode 2 is a 5, episode 3 is a 6. This is a 6 as well. I think this is a better spectrum because there's less allegorical nonsense in this and more telling a story. And I feel like when Born Again stops trying to like shove a fucking message down your throat and just straight up tell you a story, it's pretty decent. If this whole show was just them focusing on telling a fucking story, I might like the show more. But it's not. But I did like the boxing scene stuff. I like the stuff with Bullseye, where he, in his warped sense of self, he's being a good guy. That's what he said. He's like, I'm one of the good guys. In his warped fucking head, he's a good guy, right? I like the scene with Matt Murdock at the church. The boxing fight was shot great. The fight scene with Daredevil and Bullseye was fucking shit. I'm happy that we are seeing less and less of these born-again characters. Like, Cherry's gone in the hospital. I hope to never see that fucker again, but I probably will. There was no Heather Glenn this episode. Oh no, what a shame. I wish we could get rid of Kirsty McDuffie. I would, honest to God, man, just get rid of all these fucking born-again characters. I don't give a fuck about them. Like, I'm just waiting for Foggy to show up again. That's what I'm really waiting for. He probably won't show up to like the last episode of the season. And the whole thing with Jessica Jones, where the fuck is she? Like, they made that a huge thing. Oh, she's gonna be in the show, right? Ain't seen shit about her, so we'll see. Now that I'm here, I think I might as well just talk about it, because I'm not gonna make a video on it. But in Born Again Season 3, there has been apparently, like, it's been like, there's like there was pictures, and it's like, they've spotted Finn Jones and Michael Coulter with Kristen Ritter, and it looks like that we are going to be getting Defenders in Season 3, which I think we all kind of assume. So these are like set photos with Kristen Ritter, Mike Coulter, and Finn Jones. So, like, yeah, it looks like we're going to do like Defenders Light for Season 3. I think we all kind of assumed that's what they were going to do. But it is nice to see that, like, you know, that they're actually going to do it. I hope. Now, in the article I'm looking at, which is by Cosmic Book News, where they show it, you know, they ask, is Heroes for Hire back in play? Because there was talk during the Netflix era that they were going to do Heroes for Hire as like a show with Luke Cage and Iron Fist, which I'm all for, right? My favorite episode of Luke Cage Season 2 is the one with Iron Fist. Because it's so different. Because Iron Fist is just this jovial fucking dude, and he and Luke Cage just have this really good friendship with each other in that fucking episode. I'm just like, damn, I would watch a whole show with this. He's the best part of Luke Cage season 2. Is the one episode of Iron Fist. It's really fucking good. So I would like that. Heroes for Hire show, Luke Cage and Iron Fist. I'd be for it as long as they don't. Oh, that's the thing though. Like, you know, because of Luke Cage, what they do, right? They add so many fucking racism angles and that shit. They tried to do that for season 2 of Luke Cage, and I fucking hated that shit. But like, in a perfect world, a Heroes for Hire show would be great. I would like that if they literally did a Heroes for Hire show and Jessica Jones kind of shows up, and then they can get the Luke Cage and Jessica Jones romance going, because that seemed to be where we were heading in Netflix, because Luke Cage breaks it off with what's her face from Daredevil that Rosario Dawson played. Is it Carol? I don't know. Claire? I think it's Claire. At the end of season 2, Luke Cage now runs the club, and he tells Claire to go home. So it's pretty much like he's done with her. And I was like, okay, are we gonna finally get Jessica Jones and Luke Cage together? Because they are married. So I'm like, are we finally gonna do that now? That's what we're going. We're gonna finally do that, and then we never got to do that because all the shows got canceled. But I'd be for a Heroes for Hire show if that's what we do. Spinning off of Born Again season 3, we move to a Heroes for Hire show. As long as it's good, I'd be for it. And don't give Jessica Jones her own show. Just have her be in Heroes for Hire, couple episodes, right? And she and Luke Cage can have some fun banter with each other. But yeah, as for like this show, am I excited for next episode? I'm never excited for another episode of this show. I'm never excited. I'll watch it and I'll pray to God it's not as shit as the last one. But yeah, that's this one. It's the best episode we've had, so I can give you that. It's still a 6 out of 10, but it's the best episode we had. So there you go. So tell me what you think in the comments down below. If you watched it, if you didn't, I don't fucking blame you. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next week.